In our last restoration segment, the team highlighted the amount of research they've done to make sure the Zephyr remains accurate and showed us the fine detail work on many of the parts. In this week's segment, they'll lower the engine into the car and watch as the top upholstery is installed back onto the car. As the car inches closer to completion, we welcome you to the restoration wing of Double Clutch.
Okay, we got the engine back from the machine shop. We painted it all the correct colors according to the authenticity manual. We got very fortunate on some of this stuff, pieces that we found that are NOS, new old stock, like the points. It's got two sets of points in here. This rotor and this coil are all brand new from the 1940s. We rebuilt every piece on this engine. This is all brand new items that we found for this motor. We put it all back together. All of these pieces on this motor have been reconditioned, the water pumps. We polished the intake manifold and the cylinder heads. That was an option in 1940. You could get them that way, so we did this motor that way before putting it back in. We're ready to put this thing back in the car. Brad, let it down. Okay, if you guys, if it gets too close to anything back there, just say something.
I'll scream if it gets too close.
I'll hit you in the head with a hammer if you want.
I was a little unsure about this. Something a little slower, Brad. I was a little unsure about this green motor in this car, but it's the correct color for it, so.
It's the green giant.
It is what it is. Lincoln green.
Ho, ho, ho.
Somebody say the S word. Want to go down more? More?
A little at a time. We don't want to bump anything, chip or scratch any paint.
And we can set it in right now. I'll pick up the ignition.
We'll do it later, Pete. It's going to take a while. Chrome parts really look good. That's good. You got to stop there. We're doing the upholstery work. Gordon Burke is here today. We're putting the top on the car. He's put a tack strip in the body, glued it in with an epoxy. He is attaching a well liner, and he's now trimming.
This is called wire on. What this does is get stapled on, and then it'll be folded over, and it'll hide all the staples.
So it's got a metal strip inside.
It's actually a wire. You can see it. It's zigzagged all the way through there. It's sewn in.
Interesting. We've got the trunk lid from the paint shop. It's restored. We got all of the hardware on it. We found that the bolts that hold this hardware on has to be perfectly correct. There are very few threads and very little room to put bolts in these pieces, so we cut every bolt the correct length so that they would hold correctly. We've got the hinges on and the latches on, and this piece is ready to go on the car. George, will you give me a hand?
Sure will.
Let's take it around.
Very careful with this thing.
I like seeing big pieces going on the car. One piece at a time. All right, George, let's go real slow so we don't crash or scratch any paint.
Keep fingers under it.
And there, and there, that goes there. Color looks really good.
It does.
All right, we have the engine back in the car. It's running, got good oil pressure. All of the pieces that were black have been reconditioned and repainted black. They're back on. Everything that belongs here is back in here. Something that I thought was really cool about the engine bay of this car is the heater system. The heater system in this car has an electric motor here, and it pulls air in, circulates the air down around the exhaust pipes under the motor of this car in a big reservoir. From there, it comes back up this tube, this piping system, goes in through these ducts to make the defroster and the heater work in the car. And that's kind of crazy. If you ever got a leak in the exhaust system down there, you're going to get carbon monoxide poisoning inside the car that could kill you. No wonder this car was wrecked. Anyway, all of this is done. Everything is done back authentically correct in here. It looks like it did back in 1940, brand new again. We're ready to put the hood on this car and close this part of this job up. You ready to go get the hood?
Let's go get it.
Let's go get it and get it on the car.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed this week's segment. We'll see you again Monday for our newest classic car episode. And again on Thursday as we see what Carl and the team are up to in our next restoration segment here on Double Clutch.